it's Valerie Wallace Fine Arts, and I'm here in my basement studio in Orono, Maine, 04473, with my daughter Daphne, the Ginger Ninja, who is my assistant, and we are going to have our last in a row 10 o'clock, well, daily drawing lesson. I'm going to space them out a little bit. After this, we have one tomorrow night, though. And today we're going to do a mouse. All right, so what makes a mouse, Daphne?
Big ears.
Big ears. So you got to have big ears. Really, outside of that, if you make a little blob, if you make a thumbprint and you draw big ears on it, it's a mouse. Okay? What's another thing maybe about this mouse?
Whiskers.
It has whiskers. Whiskers are cute.
Little nose.
It has a teeny weeny little nose. Teeny weeny nose. When we did the bear and maybe even the raccoon and stuff like that, we had a pretty big nose. One of the dogs, too. Big nose. But this one is a little teeny tiny one, and that kind of tucks him back like this. What about the eyes, Daph? Big or small?
Big.
Big eyes. We're going to make the eyes super big. We're going to exaggerate it a little bit. All right? And what is the basic shape of our mouse?
A triangle.
It's a triangle. Okay? It's not exactly a point at the top. It's a little flat at the top. But for the most part, we're just thinking triangle. Got some big black eyes with some white spots on them for the highlights. Big ears, rounded, okay? If you make them too oval, it might look like a mouse. Okay, so you want to round it a little bit. Oh, no. I mean a rabbit.
Oh.
And then we're gonna do this with some litup feet, like it's holding up over there. Okay, so let's do it. I'm gonna use this kind of tannish brown. My mouse is a little brown, but you can make whatever you want. If you want a pink mouse, draw a pink mouse. Get a light pink. Get whatever color you want to do, and start light. Like, light green if you want. I don't care. All right? We have to have room for a little bit more ear at the top of our page, but for the most part, we're going to get this part between his ears way up near the top. Okay? This is too high. Too high, too low. Too low. Right around here, okay? And what we'll do is to make him look furry, instead of a line, we're just going to make some little dots. Okay? We can turn that into fur later on. Good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it needs to be about this wide. In the scheme of like maybe your paper, that's maybe a third. So say this is the size, maybe it's a quarter. So if like I divided my paper in half, and then I took that half and I divided that in half, that would be about this big. That's about how big that's going to be. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. I'm going to do it down here in a Sharpie. And I'm going to be very simple. That's my plan anyway down here. Okay, so if I found the middle, this is half, this is a quarter, this is about how big I want that piece to be. Okay? Does this show?
A little bit.
Not really?
The bar is right in the way. It's hard to tell.
Okay, I'll make it a little darker. All right, then we're going to make some ears. All right? And then, this part of it is pretty much straight up. So I could go up, and then I'll round it down. Let's look even.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so we'll go up. And then, he's just pretty much dropping down. So the outside line is going to be a little bit lower. Does that make sense? Where this stops, this line is a little lower. They're not stopping here evenly. This one goes down farther. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
We're almost done.
Good.
All right. And then we're going to go from his ear down to the corner of the paper, pretty much, okay? And when we do this, we, again, want it to be, easy to turn into fur. So instead of a line, make it a dotted line or a dashed line or whatever, or a hairy line that goes down like this, okay? Same deal over here. Actually, you don't have to go all the way to the bottom. Let's go almost to the bottom, because we're going to have this little, bowl, like he's climbing out of your cereal bowl or something. Whoop, here you are.
That's not what I want.
one of those things that in some situations, what's cuter, and then some situations, what's more disgusting. Alright? Make sure it's nice and wide in here, okay? Now this is the other thing I want you to get. Actually, let's do the eyes. Let's do the eyes next. This one's turned just a tiny bit. I'm just drawing mine just straight on, okay? It doesn't need to be turned. If you want to, like, if you know what you're doing, you know, challenge yourself, draw it a little bit, change it a little bit. There's a little more light over here, and this eye's a little different shape, and it's also closer to the side of his face. Okay, so usually what happens is the eyes line up kind of with the inside corner of the ears, okay? And so we have to just decide how far away they are. And I would kind of look at the eye and then look at how close it is to the ear, right? Yeah, this is down here, okay? So, you know, it's around here, right? The top of the eye is pretty close to the bottom of the ears. It's like right around here, you know, maybe over here. I'll do a little bit on both sides. I'm thinking a little bit about the distance between. They're not super close. We're spread out a little bit, okay? So we want to turn these into nice big ovals. Let's see. All right, and I can draw over this because it's black. I'm going to make them nice and big. In reality, if I measure the eye, it's like half the size of the ear. So if I measure half of my ear, I'm a little bit big, but that's okay. Okay, and I'm going to do it down here. So I'm looking at the bottom of the ear. Okay, and then I'm gonna go over a little bit. I'll do that on both sides. Think a little bit about the amount of space between, and I'll round these out. I want to make them even. That's the one thing I'm looking at. Okay. Yeah, a little bit more on the bottom of this one. Okay.
It looks kind of scary.
Yes. What is the name of that band?
What?
Death Mouse or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know about Death Mouse.
Alright. Now, the distance from the eye to the nose. We have a nice triangle here. Let's see. The distance between the eyes is about to the top of the nose. Between the eyes, that means it's about here. Okay? And this nose is kind of a little, it's a little box, maybe with a little V on the end. It's a little this shape. Okay? Yeah, it does. Still looks scary.
Yep.
It reminds me, isn't there, oh, I know what it is.
Is it Furby?
Yeah, that too. I think it's in The Simpsons when they have the, like, Ben and Jerry cartoon that they watch, but it's not the real Ben and Jerry, and it's a really deviant looking mouse.
Oh, well, I don't really know much about Ben and Jerry or
Tom and Jerry.
Yeah. That's ice cream.
Yeah, let's not spoil ice cream.
No.
Alright, there's a little cute little nose for this guy. Alright, now this is the other thing, is that even though the mouse is pretty much a blob, it's hard to see the different shapes of it, he does have a little bit of a snout, okay? And we'd like to round around the bottom of his nose, just to get that little bit that pops out. And what you can see is that it's white fur here, and then there's dark fur underneath. And because there's light against dark, the contrast is what pops that nose out a little bit. And in our case, if that's a little above where you're at, just by putting a line there, that's going to help. Okay? So I'm going to keep this for now, and it's not big. Usually what's happening is this snout is lining up with more or less with the inside of the eyes. And it goes right along the bottom. Don't get it too far below your nose, because that'll change the face, the style of the face a little bit. Okay, not the style of the face, but okay. And then it's rounding up here. Is this? Can you see this? Okay. Is this dark enough?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. Every now and and then whatever I'm doing is too light, and then all the white pieces of paper make it hard to see.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying, Dad, right?
I do.
He had the seahorses like that. I don't know what happened, but couldn't see it at all. All right. Okay. Now what I want to do is the little toes here. Okay, and I don't know if he actually has 3 toes or 4 toes. I'm not really sure. So this is how we're going to do that. And if you put him right below his nose, then he's going to be like this. So, you know, depending on how much room you have, if you put it down a little lower, it's a little more like top. But this is like, don't eat. All right. So what we'll do, he has pretty little feet. I wouldn't make him enormous. That might be freaky. But I'm going to make 3 toes. Okay, I'm going to make 3 lines like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to make 4 lines like this. And I'm going to make 4 lines over here. Not too big. Okay? And what you do is you round the tops like little rainbows. Okay? And then, I mean, he probably has little claws, but you can just round the bottom of them if you don't want to make him look too aggressive. Okay? If you feel like he's got one more little pinky on there, just make a little tiny hot dog on the end. Okay? And we'll bring a line right across here. Okay? Got him?
Cute.
Cute. Let's see. I'll do this one. We'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Round up each one. Round down each one. And then a little pinky on the outside. A little smaller. And we're going to have the line. Oh, I can't tell if that's even. I guess it's not, but that's all right. Okay. All right, let's color. Okay, so if you want to put a color in the background, this is the time to do that. What would be good for my,
Blue.
like my favorite color, blue?
Yeah. Purple.
Oh, where's one of my new special colors?
You got
Do you have a light purple in here?
Yeah, I used it yesterday.
Pink. Is this it?
Yeah. No.
Alright, well I guess I don't have one. Where is it? Oh, a little lavender, I'll do that. So you know, not that you need to color this in, if you're still figuring out what you're doing, you know, just skip this part. But I just always want to remind you to put the colors in the background before you do everything else. Because you don't want to pick up the background color and mess up something that you're doing. And it also just, nobody wants to add that at the end. You do it really sloppily because you just want to be done. So you have to do these things early on when you're still getting kind of warmed up. And when you're painting, you definitely have to, just because you want to layer the things that get closer and closer on top of each other. I could do that. Maybe I'll put in this, a dark color down here. A black bowl for my mouse to be in. What else could it be in?
Hole. The wall.
Peeking out of the wall. Just what I wanted. Peeking out of the trash can.
Yeah.
I'd probably fall in. That's one thing about the difference between mice and rats, is rats can crawl out of things that are deep like that, squirrels and stuff.
Oh,
But
I did not know rats could do that. I mean, I guess.
well, yeah, I mean, I think they can climb walls and stuff.
I've seen
I
some
have a
rats.
cousin. Oh, actually, I bet I have a lot of cousins that love rats and stuff like that. Rats and snakes and all that stuff. But I'm not one of them.
You got a lot of cousins?
I got a lot of cousins that really get into creepy animals.
Yeah.
mostly on my dad's side. Okay, while I'm at this, I'm going to take this dark color and I'm going to bring it up right between his fingers. Not all the way up, but most of the way, like that. Okay? All right, the next thing I want to do is put my pinks on there so they'll stay nice and fresh when I color the other colors. I think this will work all right. There's a little shading and stuff, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. Okay, a little pink there, a little pink on the nose. If I pick up a little of the brown, that just looks good with the pink anyway. A little pink on my beak. So in my black and white one, the pinks are going to stay light. And the other parts are going to get darker. Okay. I'm not going to do the eyes just yet. So you can just color the mouse in whatever you want. I'm going to use a few different colors just because why not? I'm going to take a gray and I'm going to take a dark brown. I have little tiny stubs. Okay. And maybe more of the light brown. Yeah. Okay, but if you squint your eyes at his face, you're going to see that he's darker down here. He's a little darker here, a little darker like right around these areas. So I'm just going to use the darker color on those parts. I don't want to go quite the same color as that. I think I have, this guy will work a little bit better. Okay? Let's just give him a little shape. If you are done, if you are like, 5 and you've already done this and you want to just color everything in, just go color it in. The thing you want to remember is to leave a nice, big shape in the eyes before you color them in. A little shape of white. If you're still coloring, you want to color your mouse in. Okay, so right in here, I'm going to do the brown right up around this nose, and that's going to help give him some shape. Now he looks really funny.
Oh, God.
Well, for those of you that have been watching with me every day for like, I don't know, the past, nobody's watched every day, I know that. That's not what I care about anyway. But, I think it's been over 65 days in a row.
That's a lot of days.
Since March 20th, except one day. And I'm tired, so I can't do it every day anymore. And I think people have other things they want to try to do. But I will still keep offering the free classes. I'm kind of thinking Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10, and then Friday night, or one of the weekend nights. Okay, at 8. We'll see how that goes. And, you can always ask me about private lessons. We can do those as a Zoom. Like I said, I have all those classes. If you want one that would help you with such and such a thing, just ask me. I'll find one for you. Okay, I'm going to take the brown around the outside of the ears. I want to get those to stand out in the background. There's a little extra skin right here where the ear meets the head on the inside part. So you might want to add a little there. Alright, I've got around the nose, got around the chest, got the lower part of the, down here. And now I'm going to put a little bit of the golden brown up in here. If you're drawing a green mouse, just get a bunch of different shades of green. Try it out. Okay? There we go. There's that. This guy is backlit. That's why you have this little glow of light right around the outside. It is very warm and humid today.
It's nice.
Can you feel it? Yeah, it's so nice. I mean,
No
I
complaints.
think those sunny days are something that is a gift right now. The blue sky and the bright colors, but at least today it's warm. I mean, when I think of this, all the classes we've been down here in the past
So
3 months,
cold.
and the snowstorms and the
Yeah.
rain and the freezing cold, and having, me to have to build a fire in May to keep warm down here. We had snow in May, right?
Yeah.
What's that about? Okay, he's a little colored right around his the pink on the nose too. There's just a little bit of white, and the less white you leave, the more important it is. Okay. That's doing it, right? I'm going to put a little bit of gray on here too. Keep them nice and wide though, out here. I don't want to lose them in the background here. Am I? Do I need to go some darker purple around them?
Maybe, but you need to work on your black and white.
Whoop. There we go. So a little extra on the inside part. I'm also, if you want, I also do a lot of murals. I'm working on a mural right now for Tesoro's new Italian restaurant or something. It's like in downtown Bangor. It's the second mural that I've done there. And I've done a lot of those in my day, and I really do like to do a mural. So if you want some embellishment, like maybe, even if it's something little, a couple of little fairies over your new baby's bed, or some animals, or a full-on wall in your dining room, or in your restaurant. Hit me up.
I was hoping you'd say that.
This is the time too, because I got time, but not a lot of money.
Relatable.
Like everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although not everybody.
Yeah, some of us don't have much time.
Some people don't have much time, some people don't have, some people do have some money. Everybody feels like they don't have any money, but that's always the case. It's all relative.
Yep.
Okay, so if I put all this dark down around his snout, that helps to set up his face a little bit. I probably need a different marker.
I was saying you need a gray marker. A big gray marker.
I do need a gray marker. I do have some nice colored markers, but those things just don't last very long.
No.
Okay. If anybody out there needs some photography done, especially if you're thinking about getting married, you can hit up Ruby Jean Photography anytime, and that's that's my daughter, and she is an accomplished, experienced wedding photographer, and she can also she'll take pictures of anything.
Grad pictures.
Grad pictures. If you know somebody that just recently graduated, she will be in the Orono area, but she lives in the southern area. And she can do a photo shoot for you, or family photo shoots. And she's very careful about not breathing all over you. Wash your hands. And
she's hygienic.
she can also, if you're revamping your social media, which is something pretty much anybody that has a business is probably working on these days, she takes some great still life pictures of your food or whatever products that you sell.
She also got some great advice on her YouTube channel.
And she has, how to do your own social media stuff on her YouTube channel. Probably on her other channel too.
Hit subscribe.
Yeah, hit subscribe. Hit her up. Help out the local people. And, work a deal. Alright. There we go. How does this mouse look?
Cute.
Does it look cute? It looks a little bit scary.
Yeah, well, maybe it's kind of scary too.
Maybe it is scary. I think I need to do this part.
I mean, I think a lot of people think mice are scary. I can tell you, all the times I've seen mice in my room, I've screamed.
What do you mean you have mice in your room?
At school.
Yeah, how about that? That's crazy.
It's not what you want to see on the 4th floor. 3rd floor. Whatever.
After the Christmas break, right?
No,
but I mean, if you were a mouse,
someone before, and then Jamie found a dead one.
If you were a mouse, what a great place, because there's just room after room of dirty college rooms full of snacks all over the floor. I would be like, hey, what a great place to be if I was a mouse. Right? The living's good. Don't you think so?
Well, we found a dead one, so I don't think the living was that good for that one.
Alright, hey, I want a little bit of shading in my ears. Not my ears, but my mouse's ears. So I put a little of this. I probably should have found myself some markers that had a little more ink in them, but I might even, you know what? I might even like to put a pink on this one. In all the pink spots.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Can you find me one?
Yes.
Some people love that, all gray with one color. Some people do. Okay, there's that. Alright, I'm going to do the eyes up here on this guy.
Cool.
Actually, I'm going to do 3 things. That's it. That's it, and then you can go about your merry way. One of them is these eyes. Okay, because this is going to help a lot. Go from a zombie mouse to a cute mouse. Hopefully. You have to color the eyes in all the way, though. It's one thing you have to do all black. Except the highlight. The highlight white, the kids that have class with me, the last thing we do is we take the back end of the brush and we put a little dot of white in the eyes, and they all know. It just takes it from being a drawing. It looks alive. It's crazy what a difference a little highlight makes. Okay, there's that. They're pretty even. This one has a little bit more out here, I guess. Okay, I want that. I'm going to accent actually the bottom of this nose a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to, this is another thing I can see would be helpful, is you see how the color of the purple here and the gray here, they're so much the same that you can't really see the mouse? So I'm going to color the whole thing again. But when I bring this dark purple down the outside here, do you see how it makes it so you can see the mouse better? Alright, so like if you look at only this side, you see what happens, and then look at this side, you can see the difference. Can you? Did it work? This side?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Alright, so now you see that's about contrast. That's an example of it. Okay, and I can, I don't have to do it all up at the top again. See, not quite as big, oh, well, maybe with the pink show it better. Okay. So sometimes if you're looking at your picture and you're like, something's just not right about it, think about the contrast. Think about contrast of value. Alright, I need to bring it in a little bit right there. Okay, and then go to, oh wait, where's the pink? This one?
Oh, or the other one.
This is not what I meant.
Well, it's all I can find, so.
I meant my fancy markers.
Well, I don't know where they are.
You know why?
No.
Because you're so short, you can't see them on the back of the shelf.
Well, you should have given me better jeans. And I'd be taller.
I gave you them. You just didn't use them.
You picked the wrong man. If you wanted me to be tall.
He's got some tall uncles.
Well, he's not tall.
He's not short, though.
No, but he's got a short sister.
Well, I did think about that.
Well,
I didn't think about it. There you go. That looks kind of, I can't think of what it is. Okay, the last thing is what?
it looks like, I don't know, a mouse at a rave.
Okay. Oh, I wish I had, this is taking a long time, isn't it?
It is.
Let's see if this works. Oh, okay. Oh, no. No, it's not going to work. All right, that's not going to work. I'll have to use this one. You have to have some whiskers.
Yeah, that looks good.
How about that?
Cute.
And up here, should I use a pencil or a charcoal?
Use the charcoal.
Maybe this. He has a whole bunch of them. All right, and remember that they're on around his snout, okay? They're not just everywhere, and they're not on the middle of it either. But what I'll do is start here, and oops, that didn't go very far. I hit a wrinkle. I got 4 on both sides. There we go. How's that?
Cute.
How is that? Okay, so tomorrow night we're going to do a nice Maine landscape at 8 o'clock. Oops. I don't know what that on there. I like that. Right there. Whoops. Jeez. Jeez Louise. There we go. Oh! Doesn't want to go right. Okay. Lupins, ocean, fir trees, we got it all. I'm going to do that at 8 tomorrow night. Get your colors, get your black and white, big, small, whatever you want to do. And if you'd like to leave a donation, there's some blue letters there. That's a link, and you can click on that, and then you can go and you can do it if you want to. And I'm also on Venmo, Valerie Wallace-9. My webpage is ValerieWallaceFineArts.com, and you can check out stuff like that I do and whatever, and I keep it pretty up to date, although I need to do a little work. And I will see you tomorrow. If you're unless you're little, and then you'll have to wait till next week. Because maybe you go to bed at 8. Maybe you don't. I don't know. I'll give you a close up. There we go. Hey, Liana. Hey, Bethany. Alicia, my mother. Jennifer. Hey, Matthias. You got up for class. How sweet is that? All right. See you guys tomorrow. Thank you.